Hey everybody, my name is Dr. Sam. I'm a clinical psychologist by day and simmer by night, and I love cozy games and calm nights. And come with me to unwind while building in The Sims. Today, I really want to build something peaceful, and I want to do it on my favorite lot in the game. This is Little Nook Falls, my absolute favorite lot because of this view right here. It's in Copperdale, so it's a lot less cozy if you look this way. Don't mind the snow, but we're going to focus our attention and build something over here. And I'm thinking we can build a cabin. So as I start to place these boxes, I want you to take a deep breath with me as we settle in and work on this shell. My hope is that we can get the shell of this house done and maybe some landscaping. And we can come back a different time and decorate the inside. But today, I really want to focus on the outside. Mostly just thinking about fresh air. I don't know where you are in the world, but for me, the leaves are changing. It's fall. I live near the Appalachian Mountains, so there is beautiful colors outside, and it just made me think about how lucky I am to live so close to nature. And I figured I might start with a small cottage build as my first build on this channel because, I don't know, I love visiting cottages. I don't know about this shape. That said, I'm not trying to be perfect here. I am going to let go of that sense of everything needs to see this. That would make me frustrated. And it does a little bit. But we're going to try to come up with a little workaround for that. But at the end of the day, if that is my biggest problem in life right now, I think I'm doing okay. I want you to take a couple deep breaths with me as I find the perfect roof tile for my cabin. I don't know about you, but my favorite type or technique of deep breathing is box breathing. Let me know if you've heard of it. It is probably one of the easiest to remember. And I can kind of walk you through it right now if you'd like. It's this idea of you breathe in for 4 seconds, you breathe out for 4 seconds, you breathe in for 4, out again for 4. And you see, creates this nice box here, and that's why we call it box breathing. But like I said, it is my favorite type of breathing because you can get pretty much 3 boxes in a minute, and that is pretty good bang for your buck if you ask me. So I think I'm okay with this shape right now. It's not my favorite roof, but it'll do. Just gonna adjust this. You can see you can see that there's a little trick that I'm using a hotkey If you are on PC and you click your roof piece and press down Shift C, it will give you a little bit more options. So you can really have a lot of control over what this roof piece can look like. And I want to add a little bit of a slope, just to smooth out some of these lines. The color palette I'm wanting to use today is warm colors, thinking maybe some paneling or some wood siding, maybe perhaps, not a log cabin, but maybe the new cabin siding. This is exactly what we're looking for. I am a big fan of those deeper, darker browns. It makes me feel cozy and comfortable. And I think a lot about the way that colors affect our life and how colors make us feel. Oh, I forgot. I'm not doing the inside right now, but I did want to make this a room. Oops. That will help. Oh, I thought it would help. Apparently it does not help with creating a column there, but we can always go ahead and manually add some columns. And I really like these wood ones from, goodness, not me calling it the horseback because I can't remember the name. And I think that's okay that I can't remember the name. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves to be perfect and remember everything all the time. And part of me does feel right now a little embarrassed that I cannot remember the name. And also that I'm clicking buttons that I'm not meaning to. However, that's okay. Because if I didn't tell you that I didn't mean to click a button, how would you know? You could assume. Anyone could assume, but they would never know. And so I like to remind myself that when I'm making mistakes in life, that not everybody is watching everything that you do all the time, even though it feels like it. And that's actually something we call the spotlight effect. So the spotlight effect is this idea, it's a cognitive bias, but I think it's called more of a heuristic. But it's the idea that you are way more likely to notice something about yourself and think that other people are paying way more attention to it than they actually are. So for example, if you maybe spilt coffee on your shirt, like I tend to do anytime that I wear white. If you spill coffee on your shirt and there's a small stain there, you might go to your friend and say, "Oh my gosh, don't look at my shirt. I know I'm a slob. I've got this stain here." And I bet you your friend might be like, "I didn't even see it." Because at the end of the day, we are far more concerned with ourselves than anybody else is concerned with us. It's almost like you are the star of your own movie. And no, that doesn't mean we have to engage in what they call main character syndrome, but it does mean that we should matter to ourselves, and you are allowed to do things for yourself and to choose you, and to recognize that the world isn't looking at you the same way you look at yourself. It's okay to have those thoughts and feelings, but I would encourage you to take a step back the next time you start to think about maybe the weight of the world is on your shoulders, or everybody's looking at me. And remember the spotlight effect. You'd be surprised. So you see me kind of building a little porch out here. I'm not thrilled with this trim, so I'm going to go ahead and change that out. I think sometimes change is hard, not necessarily in The Sims, but in life, especially if you're so tied to something. It's not easy. I didn't like that. Good old Control Z to the rescue there. I really love Horse Ranch. I'm so happy that the name of the pack has come to me. I like the ranch vibes. I love the feeling of the outdoors. And I really liked just the horses that came with it. The world, I think, is... Ooh, that's a spooky one. That might be nice for October, but we're going for a different kind of vibe here. I know. Maybe we'll use some seasoned stuff. And if you do notice my swatch tray on the side here, that is from the Better Build Buy mod, which I'll link in the description below just in case you want to check that out. I don't want to say I refuse to play without Better Build Buy on, but it makes the things a little bit more difficult for me when I'm trying to build. So there's a couple mods that I feel like, oh, this is perfect. And I know we're not striving for perfect, but honestly, this is a vibe. And so I was trying to go for darker colors, but I don't necessarily want black. So maybe we can go a little, lighten up a little bit. Something maybe like that. Wonder. I think this just needs a little something. Makes me feel a bit better. Building is the most relaxing part of The Sims to me. I can get lost in it for hours. I get really invested. I get really invested in how I want the build to come out and how I want it to look. And I tend to think a lot about what other people are going to say about this build, because I fully intend to share this on the gallery. I share a lot of my builds on the gallery for fun, and I think it's so common and natural for us to really think about like what other people think about our work. And so something that I try to do when I'm making builds that I know that I'm going to upload on the gallery is focus on what I like to build and how I feel about the build. I have some builds in my gallery where I'm not the most proud of them. It's not the best build I've ever done in the world, and part of me wants to take it off the gallery, but I leave them on there. If you look at some of my earlier builds, they're a little scary at times. Kind of want to make it look like maybe this is... I would mess with the terrain, but I don't really want to right now. This is really giving me like rocking chair vibes over here. We have a nice path here. Just want to look at what it looks like. Oh, this, just take a breath right here. Every time I see something beautiful in The Sims, I try to stop and appreciate it. I know it sounds maybe a little silly that this isn't like real life forestry, and that's not a real sunset, and that's not real water there. But it doesn't mean that that scene it doesn't mean that this scene doesn't evoke the same feeling as if I were outside. And that is a really cool piece of visualization information that you could use. Look at this. Oh my goodness. That you don't have to be at the sunset or in the forest to experience what it feels like to be there. You can access that through your mind. And I'm going to make a couple videos in the future of guided meditations with The Sims. And if you hear anything in the background, that is my German Shepherd Pickle crunching his toy for your ASMR enjoyment. I truly apologize about that. That said, I plan on maybe doing some guided meditations around The Sims where we can visualize spaces while we build in a really inviting way. So right now I'm just going to place some plants around. I'm going to be quiet and quit yapping for a minute so we can just listen. Oh, I love that click. The sound of placing. Placing objects. Whenever I'm feeling a little concerned about a build, or I'm just thinking it's not coming together the way that I want it to, landscaping usually helps me feel so much better about what it looks like. There is nothing that a little baby pond cannot fix. Nothing super serious. Just light. I like that. Maybe always. Oh, that's nice. Take some terrain, paint around it. Maybe change the watercolor. I don't know how clean this pond would be. I mean, if we go with the fall feels, we can imagine leaves floating down to this little pond. Makes me think about the guided meditation Leaves on a Stream, if you've ever heard of it. It's a really nice way to separate your mind and your thoughts and your identity. So this idea of my thoughts aren't who I am, because sometimes we don't have the most helpful thoughts. I don't know about you, but there are times when I have thoughts that work against me in certain ways. And it is so frustrating when those thoughts are trying to win. So, Leaves on the Stream is a wonderful meditation for detaching your thoughts from your experience of yourself. I think right here might be a nice place to stop. I didn't put all the windows, but we can get to that next time. Maybe we can place a few more here and there. Not really sure what I want here yet, so I think this is a nice place to stop. I know we haven't done the most. Maybe I'm gonna put a little. Maybe a little path. Ooh. Good. I think this is a nice place to stop here for now. Next time we do our sleep series, I want to decorate the inside with you. So make sure to follow, like, subscribe, you know, the whole nine, so that I can get this to you if you'd like. So thank you so much for unwinding with me tonight. And remember, rest is not lazy, it's how we rebuild. Sleep well.